Welcome back, guys. It's Shopping for Podcast. It's Alex speaking here. And this time I'm talking about Loyalties on the Low. I wanted to read something that is on my website, shopbefore.com.au or lostmymind.com.au. It's the same website, just want to highlight the brand of Shop Before on one of them. If you do go onto there and read the blog post, this particular episode or this particular section is about loyalties on the low. I just wanted to see what people thought, if they would agree with my claim that finding people that are loyal seems to be a lot harder, and where we focus our loyalties seem to be more focused on who's louder and who's that's who gets the attention rather than the right person. So just wanted to read this brief section and see what you think. Anyway, I'll start reading. It's loyalty seems to be on the decline. It's no longer the standard trait that comes with having any kind of relationship. Now there are certain evolving provisos in any relationship where what used to be a simple show of mutual respect to one another has now changed to favour for those whose voice is louder than their peers. Those that are in the limelight who proudly voice their longings out loud crave more than what is on offer from their peers and don't put in a second thought into letting anyone know their requirements. What used to be considered a reciprocal understanding between those who have built up a bond through shared experiences is now irrelevant, because the world now looks after the ones who have louder voices, whether it's fair or not. The squeaky wheel gets the grease seems to be a lot of people's motto, which is a lesson in life that was learnt when they noticed that through trial and error that their woes were met with positive reinforcement when they spoke up. Loyalty is a character trait that defines what type of person you are. Those who are unable to show loyalty to one another, those who want to show loyalty to anyone but themselves are conditioned by those who will go out of their way to please the complainer. So the only person at fault is the person who reinforces their bad behavior. If we want people to behave rightly, we must show them that they need to be loyal to positive values, otherwise their negative ways will result in digging them deeper into their own misfortune. People will be loyal to those that are loyal to them. So if you wonder why people are treating you like a pushover, maybe it's because you let them. Now that I've sort of based it on growing up when you are trying to teach people about how to do the right thing is by reinforcing their good behaviours. So when you're teaching your kids to treat others with respect, or when you're treating kids not to do the wrong thing, you punish them when they do the wrong thing and you reward them when they do the right thing. This is a behaviour that eventually, when conditioned, hoping that eventually the only reinforcement they need is positive reinforcement, not a gift or anything like that. So just wanted to say that I think these days we tend to focus on the louder voices, the ones that complain, the ones that scream that they're in more pain than others, the ones that complain more. So all this does is let them know that if we give them what they want, we purely focus on the minority. Where the majority are suffering, they're the ones that are more rational usually, because they know what's fair is fair, and they don't want any more than what is fair. Whereas someone who complains, they'll be the first to complain, but when it comes down to them sharing the same pattern of rules, they don't want to follow those same rules because it's harder. They've been conditioned to take the easier path purely on the fact that every time they've raised their voice, they've got what they wanted. Now, this is just going to turn society into a bunch of complainers, and as you can see, it seems to be more of that than it is, or than it's used to be. People constantly focused on what they're lacking rather than what they've got. It almost seems like they need to go to a poorer country to see that what they have, and then maybe they'll appreciate the rights that they have here. So there are a lot of places where half of what they're complaining, the other half will never have. So, and then when they're in this place, they don't want to have to sacrifice the things that you need to sacrifice to get what you want. So all they start focusing is on themselves, and this is where they fall in the trap of basically yelling their way through life and complaining about life, writing letters and constantly complaining about what they should have and what they didn't have and how they were oppressed. Now, to complain about oppression now compared to what was in the past seems to be so far unfair, because life was definitely tougher in the past, and now it seems that we've just weakened ourselves and now weakened ourselves to not handle the tougher times, where that would have built strength and that would have built character and that would have built a pattern that you need to toughen up and so you can survive, where now it just seems like I don't want to hear that, so don't talk about that. I'd rather not discuss that, where discussions seem to be out of control now. So it seems like people don't want to get along. They would rather just complain about things, and people stab each other in the back more than they probably did then. So I think the truth of the matter is that most people only have a handful of friends that they can completely trust, and only a handful of friends that they'll call at any hour and will be there by their side supporting them. Whereas it seems that now a lot of people will do things for you only because they expect you to do twice as much for them, or even more so for them than they will ever do for you. Whereas before, it was just an equal, fair respect. When you did show people that you would be there for them, there would be no doubt that they'll be there for you. Now we seem to question everything, purely because we're not sure where people's loyalties lie. So I think that's all I've got to say on the topic. I'm sure most people can see in their life that they probably only got a handful of people that they will 100% trust, and the rest are acquaintances. So it would be better if we did have a bigger circle, but I think to have true friends, it seems like the circles have to be smaller, and so that way you can actually get people that will trust you and as you trust them. So I don't know why it's gotten this way, other than the fact that people are starting to focus more on their own interests rather than how what they do affects other people. But that's the only sort of thoughts I have on the topic. Anyway, if you do go onto my website, feel free to read up and join. And hopefully I can write about more things that you can relate to and see that you're not alone in your thoughts. Anyway, thanks again. And that's enough for this episode. I'll speak to you on the next one. Thank you.